Bendigo, BNDO, is a city in Victoria, Australia, located very close to the geographical centre of the state and approximately 150 kilometres northwest of the state capital, Melbourne. Bendigo has an urban population of 146,424, making it the fourth largest inland city in Australia and fourth most populous city in the state. It is the administrative centre for the City of Greater Bendigo, which encompasses both the urban area and outlying towns spanning an area of approximately 3,000 square kilometres and over 111,000 people. The discovery of gold in the soils of Bendigo during the 1850s made it one of the most significant Victorian-era boom towns in Australia. News of the finds intensified the Victorian gold rush, bringing an influx of migrants to the city from around the world within a year and transforming it from a sheep station to a major settlement in the newly proclaimed colony of Victoria. Once the alluvial gold had been mined out, mining companies were formed to exploit the rich underground quartz reef gold. Since 1851, about 780,000 kilograms of gold have been extracted from Bendigo's gold mines, making it the highest producing gold field in Australia in the 19th century and the largest gold mining economy in eastern Australia. It is also notable for its Victorian architectural heritage. The city took its name from the Bendigo Creek, and its residents from the earliest days of the gold rush have been called Bendigonians. Although the town flourished in its beginnings as a result of the discovery of gold, it experienced a reversal of fortune in the early 20th century. However, its growth accelerated in the post-war years and has continued to increase steadily since. Bendigo is the largest finance centre in Victoria outside Melbourne, as home to Australia's only provincially headquartered retail bank, the Bendigo and Adelaide Bank. History. The original inhabitants of the Mount Alexander area, that includes Greater Bendigo, were the Dja Dja Wurrung people, who exploited the rich local hunting grounds. These grounds were eventually noticed by European settlers, who established the first of many vast sheep runs in 1837. The Mount Alexander North Sheep Run was bordered by a creek that came to be known as Bendigo, after a local shepherd nicknamed for the English bare-knuckle prize fighter William Abednego Thompson. Gold was discovered in the area in September 1851, just after the other significant gold fields in neighbouring Castlemaine, from where many diggers migrated, bringing the total to 40,000 in less than a year. In 1853, there was a massive protest over the cost of the licence fee for prospectors, though it passed off peacefully, thanks to good diplomacy by police and miners' leaders. From being a tent city, the boomtown grew rapidly into a major urban centre with many public buildings. The municipality became a borough in 1863, officially known as Sandhurst until 1891, but always unofficially as Bendigo. The railway had reached here by 1862, stimulating rapid growth with flour mills, woolen mills, tanneries, quarries, foundries, eucalyptus oil production, food production industries and timber cutting. When the alluvial gold ran out, the gold fields evolved into major mines with deep shafts to mine the quartz-based gold. Bendigo was declared a city in 1871. Rapid population growth brought a water shortage, partially solved with a new viaduct that harnessed the Coloburn River. The architect William Charles Varland left an important mark on Bendigo during this period. He is credited with the popular cottage design with verandas decorated in iron lace, a style that was soon adopted right across the state of Victoria. Varland also designed more than 80 buildings, including the Alexandra Fountain, arguably the most prominent monument in Bendigo, with its granite dolphins, unicorns, nymphs and allegorical figures. A tram network was in use by 1890. After a temporary drop in population, there was renewed growth from the 1930s, as the city consolidated as a manufacturing and regional service center, though gold mining continued till 1954. Recent growth has been most heavily concentrated in areas such as Epsom, Kangaroo Flat, Strathdale and Strathfields. In 1994 the City of Bendigo was abolished and merged with the borough of Eaglehawk, the Huntly and Strathfields shires and the rural city of Marong to form the larger city of Greater Bendigo. The population of the city increased from around 78,000 in 1991 to about 100,617 in 2012. Bendigo is currently one of the fastest-growing regional centres in Victoria land use. The City of Greater Bendigo includes Victoria's fourth-largest city in Bendigo, as well as a significant rural hinterland. Smaller townships are located at Axdale, Elmore, Gornong, Heathcote, Marong and Reedsdale. The city encompasses a total land area of 3,000 square kilometres, of which a significant proportion is national park, regional park, reserve or bushland. Much of the rural land is used for agricultural purposes, including poultry and pig farming, sheep and cattle grazing and vineyards. Most of the city's retail space is in the Bendigo CBD or along the main roads. There is some industrial land use in the suburbs around the CBD. Major features of the City of Greater Bendigo include the Greater Bendigo National Park, the Heathcote Greytown National Park, the Bendigo Regional Park, Lake Eppalock, Lake Wirruna, Ironbark Lookout, One Tree Hill Lookout, the Bendigo CBD, Lansdale Plaza, Bendigo TAFE, Monash University School of Rural Health, La Trobe University, Bendigo School of Nursing, Bendigo Hospital, Bendigo Art Gallery, Central Deborah Gold Mine, Discovery of Gold Monument, Campaspe-run Rural Discovery Centre, the Discovery Science and AMP Technology Centre, the Bendigo Tramways Museum, the Golden Dragon Museum, the Chinese Gardens, Bendigo Pottery, Sweeney's Creek Pottery, Goldfields Mohair Farm, Heartlands Eucalyptus Factory, White Hills Botanic Gardens, Bendigo Racecourse, Diamond Hill Historic Reserve, the Campaspe River, the Great Stupa and numerous wineries. Urban centre. The central area of Bendigo consists of approximately 20 blocks of mixed-use area. The main street is the Midland Highway. The section running through the CBD is also known as Pall Mall, while the main shopping area is centred around Hargreaves Mall. Suburbs. The contiguous urban area of Bendigo covers approximately 82 square kilometres of the local government area's 3,048 kilometres. Bendigo has several suburbs, some of which were once independent satellite townships and many which extend into the surrounding bushland. Bendigo's suburbs include Ascot, California Gully, Eaglehawk North, East Bendigo, Epsom, Flora Hill, Golden Square, Golden Gully, Longley, Juniton, Kangaroo Flat, Kennington, Long Gully, Maiden Gully, North Bendigo, Quarry Hill, Sailors Gully, Spring Gully, Strathdale, Strathfields, West Bendigo and White Hills. Architectural heritage. As a legacy of the gold boom, Bendigo has many ornate buildings built in a late Victorian colonial style. Many buildings are on the Victorian Heritage Register and registered by the National Trust of Australia. Prominent buildings include the Bendigo Town Hall, the Old Post Office, the Bendigo Law Courts, the Shamrock Hotel, the Institute of Technology City and the Memorial Military Museum, all in the Second Empire style. The architect Varland encouraged European artisans to emigrate to the Sandhurst goldfields and to create a Vienna of the South. Bendigo's Sacred Heart Cathedral, a large sandstone church, is the third largest cathedral in Australia and one of the largest cathedrals in the Southern Hemisphere. The main building was completed between 1896 and 1908 and the spire between 1954 and 1977. Fortuna Villa is a large surviving Victorian mansion built for Christopher Borlestedt and later owned by George Lansell. Many other examples of Bendigo's classical architecture rank amongst the finest classical commercial buildings in Australia and include the Colonial Bank Building and the former Masonic Hall, which is now a performing arts centre. Bendigo's Joss House, a historic temple, was built in the 1860s by Chinese miners and is the only surviving building of its kind in regional Victoria, which continues to be used as a place of worship. The historic Bendigo tram sheds and power station now house Bendigo's Tramway Museum. The Queen Elizabeth Oval still retains its ornate 1901 grandstand. Parks and gardens. The central city is skirted by Rosalind Park, a Victorian-style garden featuring statuary and a large blue stone viaduct. The main entrance corner of the park is on the intersection known as Charing Cross, formerly the intersection of two main tram lines. It features a large statue of Queen Victoria. The Charing Cross Road junction features the large ornate Alexandra fountain and is built on top of a wide bridge which spans the viaduct. The park elevates toward Camp Hill, which features a historic school and former mine ʻbɛndᵻɡoʊ. Further from the city is Lake Wirruna, a large ornamental lake adjacent to the Bendigo Botanical Gardens, which opened in 1869. The gardens are home to many native species of animal including brush-tailed and ring-tailed possums, ducks, coots, purple swamp hens, microbats, the grey-headed flying fox, several species of lizard, owls and the tawny frogmouth. Demographics. From preliminary ABS estimate. Economy. Bendigo is a large and growing service economy. The major industries are tourism, commerce, education and primary industries, with some significant engineering industries. Bendigo's growth is largely at the expense of small surrounding rural towns which in contrast are in steep decline. Tourism. Tourism is a major component of the Bendigo economy, generating over $364 million in 2008-09. Bendigo is popular with heritage tourists and cultural tourists, with the focus of tourism on the city's gold rush history. Prominent attractions include the Central Deborah Gold Mine, the Bendigo Tramways, the Golden Dragon Museum, the Bendigo Pottery and the Great Stupa. Commerce. The main retail centre of Bendigo is the Central Business District, with the suburbs of Eagle Hawk, Kangaroo Flat, Golden Square, Strathdale and Epsom also having shopping districts. The city was home to Australia's only provincial stock exchange, the Bendigo Stock Exchange, founded in the 1860s. The city is the home of the headquarters of the Bendigo Bank, established in 1858 as a building society. It is now a large retail bank with community bank branches throughout Australia. The bank is headquartered in Bendigo and is a major employer in the city. Manufacturing. The City of Greater Bendigo community profile indicated that about 10.2% of the workforce were employed in manufacturing in 2011. After the Victorian gold rush, the introduction of deep quartz mining in Bendigo caused the development of a heavy manufacturing industry. Little of that now remains, but there is a large foundry which makes mining, train and other steel parts, and there is also a rubber factory. Thales Australia is an important heavy engineering company. Australia Defence Apparel is another key defence industry participant, making military and police uniforms and bulletproof vests. Intervet is an important biotechnology company, producing vaccines for animals. Education. The Bendigo Senior Secondary College is the largest VCE provider in the state. Catholic College Bendigo follows close after, which ranges from years 7 to 9 at the Livala campus and 10 to 12 at the Coolock campus. Girton Grammar School is a private school providing education to students from years Prep 12. The Bendigo campus of La Trobe University is also a large and growing educational institution with over 5,000 undergraduates and postgraduates in its two colleges. Farming and agriculture. The surrounding area, or Gold Country, is quite harsh rocky land with scrubby regrowth vegetation. The box ironbark forest is used for timber and beekeeping. Sheep and cattle are grazed in the cleared areas. There are some large poultry and pig farms. Some relatively fertile areas are present along the rivers and creeks, where wheat and other crops such as canola are grown. The area produces premium wines, including Shiraz, from a growing viticulture industry. Salinity is a problem in many valleys, but is under control. There is a relatively small eucalyptus oil industry. Bendigo provides services to a large agricultural and grazing area on the Murray Plains to its north. Gold mining. One of the major revolutions in gold mining came when fields like Bendigo, but also Ballarat, Ararat and the goldfields close to Mount Alexander turned out to have large gold deposits below the superficial alluvial deposits that had been mined out. Gold at Bendigo was found in quartz reef systems, hosted within highly deformed mudstones and sandstones, or were washed away into channels of ancient rivers. Tunnels as deep as 2,000 or even 3,000 feet were possible, until overtaken in the 1890s by the Western Australia goldfields. Bendigo was the most productive Australian gold area, with a total production of over 20 million ounces. Over the 100-odd-year period from 1851 to 1954, the 3,600-hectare area which made up the Bendigo goldfield yielded 25 million ounces of gold. There is a large amount of gold still in the Bendigo goldfields, estimated to be at least as much again as what has been removed. The decline in mining was partly due to the depth of mines and the presence of water in the deep mines, and infrastructure. Transport. Bendigo is connected via the Calder Freeway to Melbourne, which is less than 2 hours by car. The remaining section of highway nearest Bendigo has been upgraded to dual carriageway standard, ensuring that motorists can travel up to speeds of 110 km/h for most of the journey. Many other regional centres are also connected to Melbourne via Bendigo, making it a gateway city in the transport of produce and materials from northern Victoria and the Murray to the Port of Melbourne and beyond. Bendigo acts as a major rail hub for northern Victoria, being at the junction of several lines, including the Bendigo line, which runs south to Melbourne, and lines running north, including the Swan Hill, Echuca and Eaglehawk Inglewood lines. V-Line operates regular velocity passenger rail services to Melbourne's, with the shortest peak journeys taking approximately 91 minutes from Bendigo railway station. Generally, however, services take 2 hours or longer. While there are several rail stations in the urban area, only 3 other stations currently operated for passengers: Kangaroo Flat Railway Station on the Bendigo line, Epsom Railway Station on the Echuca Railway line, and Eaglehawk Railway Station on the Swan Hill Railway line. There are also additional train services to and from Swan Hill and Echuca. The regional rail link promises more reliable services between Bendigo and Melbourne by providing some separation from the Melbourne Metropolitan Rail network. Victoria's electronic ticketing system, Myki, was implemented on rail services between Eaglehawk and Melbourne on 17 July 2013. Bendigo is also served by an extensive bus network which radiates mostly from the CBD towards the suburbs. The city is also serviced by several taxi services. Trams in Bendigo have historically operated an extensive network as a form of public transport. However, the remains of the network was reduced to a tourist service in 1972. Short trials of commuter tram services were held in 2008 and 2009 with little ridership. The second, Take a Tram, proved more successful, running twice as long as the previous trial. By the end of the Take a Tram program, ridership had increased and was increasing. However, due to lack of government subsidy or backing, the program ended. Bendigo is served by the Bendigo Airport, which is located to the north of the city on the Midland Highway. The Bendigo Airport strategic plan was approved in 2010 for proposed infrastructure upgrades including runway extension and buildings to facilitate larger planes and the possibility of regular passenger services from major cities in other states. Health. The Bendigo Base Hospital is the city's largest hospital, only public hospital and a major regional hospital. St. John of God is the largest private hospital. Bendigo is also served by a privately owned smaller surgical facility, the Bendigo Day Surgery. Utilities. Bendigo is entitled to a portion of the water in Lake ʻbɛndᵻɡoʊ, an irrigation reservoir on the Campaspe River. Developments have led to the building of a pipeline from Warringah to Lake ʻbɛndᵻɡoʊ and thence to Bendigo in 2007. There is a dam called 4A, Bala,